Good morning and welcome to the Megacast. It's not a radio broadcast, not just a television show. I mean, it is a radio broadcast, but it's not only a radio broadcast, not just a television broadcast, not simply a podcast or one of those Zoom chats that everyone is doing right now. It's our own little concoction that we blended up to help you stay connected with all that's going on in our area, in our Oakland County area during this mega crisis that we have. And during a mega crisis, you need the Megacast, and that's what you tuned into. Good morning, I'm Dave Scott. Tyler Keefe is here in our Lakes FM studios in West Bloomfield, and we got a packed show today. But first of all, I want to say thank you to all of our media outlets bringing the program to you today, and that includes 89.3 Lakes FM in the West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake area, 88.1 WBFH The Biff in the Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, and Pontiac area, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio in Auburn Hills, and up the I-75 corridor and extending way over to Macomb County. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you to everyone in Birmingham tuning in, watching on BAMA, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, and Channel 15 on Comcast. Thank you for tuning in on Civic Center TV, the mothership here in West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Eagle Harbor, and Sylvan Lake. And if you are elsewhere around Metro Detroit or Oakland County and you have AT&T cable, go to Channel 99, find the municipal cable links there, and just tune in to one of those communities, particularly West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Eagle, and Sylvan. And if you just hit one of those communities, you'll see the whole broadcast. You don't have to be, Tyler, in one of those communities to watch that on AT&T, right?
No, you can watch us anywhere throughout the local area on AT&T's cable access channels.
And also, we want to thank the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, kind enough today to include us on their Facebook page. So thank you. Wow, we have a very busy, very complicated day in the Megacast because the news of the day, not all of it very local to Oakland County, although some of it is complicated and changing by the second. So very quickly, here are the stories that we are keeping an eye on. And Tyler, we got our hands on. It could be very easy to get in the weeds and the mud today. We're not going to do it. But if we wanted to, if this was a weeds and mud program, this will be a great day for the show. Yeah. But it's not a weeds and mud program, right?
No weeds, no mud.
No.
Stay away from that.
No weeds or no mud. However, saying that, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, will be here in our area tomorrow at the Rawsonville plant for Ford Motor Company, where they've been doing an amazing thing and building ventilators. They did it with little notice. And, you know, the people here in Metro Detroit, many people who live in our listening area and probably work there, all pulled it together. The fine folks at Ford and their partners on the medical side were able to crank out a ton of ventilators that were needed. Not as many needed as we thought. That's good. But we did it here in Detroit. Tomorrow we will be celebrating that. It is interesting, though. Now, here's where it gets muddy. Maybe under the current rules here in the state of Michigan, the president shouldn't be allowed in that plant. I mean, that sounds crazy, right? But strictly under the rules of the state of Michigan and an executive order dished out on Monday, there are to be no visits, no tours of manufacturing facilities in the state of Michigan by a new government order from the governor here in the state of Michigan. So I'm sure that they're going to turn the other head and welcome the president. And then there's another thing they're talking about. He's got to wear a mask. Have you seen Donald Trump wearing a mask yet?
No, have not seen him in any of his visits. It's been controversial.
So, we got to stay out of the mud. And my attempt to stay out of the mud is out of respect for the presidency, regardless of how you feel about our current president, and I know he invokes strong reaction from a wide variety of people, but he is the president of the United States coming to one of our plants here in the state of Michigan to honor folks that have saved lives during the coronavirus. So to me, that seems like something that, we should pay attention to, so we will. Archdiocese of Detroit will check in on the show today. There are churches all over, Catholic churches all over our service area that will be beginning to have Mass. And it's not just the Catholic churches that's been making the big news, but all kinds of congregations of all kinds of denominations are beginning to open up. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today and continue to talk about that as we continue on through the week, Tyler. But parishioners of all faiths being able to go back to their house of worship, I see that as a really good thing.
I do too, and the element of that story that I see as being even more positive is that the plans are in place to do so safely and do so by these regulations that are in place and precautions in place to keep the community safe. It's not in protest. It's not in opposition to anything. It's an attempt to return to some semblance of normalcy and return that normalcy to people's lives.
Okay, on the news blotter for today, here, this is really good news. $315 million coming to the state of Michigan to help with testing and contact tracing. So that's great news. $315 million. They're going to use that for more testing here. We're going to use it for following people that we have identified that have the coronavirus. And that sounds like a lot of money. I mean, that's really good news.
It's excellent news, and it is a lot of money, and it goes toward exactly what we need in this moment to continue as it seems we're doing at this point in Michigan, kicking a return to some sort of normalcy and reopening the state economy into high gear. And the best way to do that in a safe manner, keeping the statistics and keeping science close at hand in making those decisions, is to better understand those things through testing and to be able to have contact tracing to see where the virus may be going.
Dave Coulter, you know him. He is our friendly local county executive in Oakland County. Very happy. $219 million coming from the federal government. He says $30 million of that will be helping small cities. Wow, that is a big relief. I know cities are really concerned. And then more money, more grants going to businesses in Oakland County. They've already dished out a number of grants. They say the average has been about $4,000 to $5,000. That can really help a small business. A lot of businesses with these PPP loans, those are starting to get to the end of the period, and every penny counts to keep small businesses alive. If you're running a small business here in our area, there might be some more money from Oakland County. Meanwhile, Mark Hackle, he's pretty happy too. Over in Macomb County, Tyler, $152 million coming from the federal government.
Every dollar counts at this point in time for, like you said, in Oakland County, to help small businesses, to help, like we spoke about just a moment ago, programs for contact tracing and for safety regulations to be put in place by the counties. Every dollar counts, and at this point in time, whatever we can get to help our communities, you're going to take.
Yeah, and you know, there's going to be less revenue sharing from the state of Michigan. So I will talk to some of our civic leaders. We won't get to them today, but over the next couple of days, and see if this money is filtering down to them. That's what this show is all about, to take these national stories and see what's really happening on the front line. Okay, so we talked about right there about $600 million coming to Michigan from the federal government. This story, okay, back to the weed and mud department, right? This story broke about 5 minutes ago, right before we went on the air. President Trump threatens to cut funding to Michigan if we proceed with our plan to send absentee ballot applications to every voter in the state of Michigan. We heard about that program yesterday, talked to one of our fine clerks, Debbie Binder, in West Bloomfield, discussed that matter yesterday. President, I mean, this thing, we're not going to get in the weeds and mud. It's not a weeds and mud show, but it's awful muddy, and there's a lot of weeds right now, and this is just further conflict between the president and our governor. So it's out there. I'm sure you'll see it on all the other media outlets, but I just wanted you to be aware of it. Yeah, Tyler is a big no comment over there on Mike 1.
It's important information to know. It's scary to think about, but it is one of those stories that's very much in the weeds and in the mud. Do I think that he will in the end withhold?
You know, I'm not even going to let you go there because I don't want us to speculate on what's going to happen, if you don't mind, Tyler. Okay, but what is obvious here, and I think interesting, and we don't have to get into any partisan to do, is that the governor and the president don't really like each other very much. And I think you could look and say that maybe even her executive order that she issued on Monday, I don't know this, and now I'm speculating a little bit, but maybe that executive order on Monday that she issued about no tours for auto plants, I think that happened after we knew the president was coming to the Ford plant. So these two do not like each other. And all you have to do is turn on the national news and see our governor on TV every day and hear the president, that woman from Michigan. So, again, we're not going to get into the one side or the other, but it's breaking news. And here's the thing. All this stuff affects us big time because we just talked about about $600 million. And I don't know that Trump could turn off money coming to Michigan if we proceed with these plans. But so now you know what we know, and you can go read all that, get all the other information in the paper. Another really interesting thing going on today, we've been talking about the barber up in Owasso, right, who didn't close down, in fact, opened up his barber shop. Local police wouldn't shut him down. State stepped in. Court case. The state has said that we will have a decision by 5 o'clock on Thursday, what's going on with him. And there have been a bunch of other salons and barbers and other people around the state. And I think eventually some right in our area that might open up. We haven't seen that happen here. And when we talked to police authorities right here on the front line yesterday in West Bloomfield, they said, no one's doing any of that here. But, just have to see what happens. And this case goes one way or the other. Tyler, could inspire some reaction one way or the other in other communities around the state, including our own.
Yeah, there are businesses, both hair salons and similar outlets that are itching to reopen and are still deemed non-essential and think that they can do a good enough job of keeping safety precautions in place and operate their business. So depending on where this goes, it could inspire some more businesses to do something similar.
I don't know that we'll get to all the news, but we're just summarizing this. We'll try to dig in deeper to some of these stories throughout the program today as we have time or over the next couple of days. Report out this morning from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics saying that, and this is obvious to anyone who's been shopping, grocery bills are going up. Fuel prices have been historically over the past month or so down. And I know they popped up a little bit the last couple of days. Here's another interesting: food at home up 4.1%. So I assume that it's costing us a little bit more to get some of that carry out. But I, for one, I'll pay every penny of that to help these restaurateurs who've had to suffer through their restaurants being closed down. If they make an extra buck or two off me and we can help them get through this crisis, no problem there. A couple other quick notes, and then we'll move on to our guests of the day. As we heard about yesterday, Up North is opening on Friday, actually Thursday at midnight. And I'm laughing because the governor made such a big point about that in her press conference. So the bars are going to open up Thursday. The restaurants are going to open up. The whole state's watching. We're watching here in Oakland County because if that goes really well, that will set the table. If you will excuse the reference, that'll set the table for restaurants here opening up, and hopefully they'll do a really good job up north. And I know a lot of you folks listening might be going up to your cottages for the weekend. It's Memorial Weekend, so take the face masks, wash your hands, keep your distancing. I talked to some people, Tyler, yesterday in northern Michigan because I have a lot of family up there. And, they seem a little concerned about all of us heading up there for Memorial Weekend. And I get it.
And there's and those are valid concerns because they have had low COVID-19 numbers and their hospital systems aren't as extensive as they are in southeastern Michigan. And so with those regions being open and restaurants and bars being available and people down here and in other areas of Michigan that aren't open, itching to get back to that kind of normalcy, you could see an influx of people going up there, and it is a cause for concern. And
make sure you follow the rules because there still is a stay-at-home order, and you're not really allowed to head up north unless you have some property up there. That, to me, seems to be one of those impossible things to enforce, and I'm sure people are going to go up north. The hotels are open up there. People are going to go up this weekend. If you do and you interpret the laws to the best of your ability for your individual situation, I get that. But when you go up there, and I'm going to be up there this week, and I got a place up there. When you go up there, do the right thing. Let's show Northern Michigan that we people in Oakland County are not a threat. We do not want them to spike up there. That would just shut down everything. I mean, all the things that we're doing. If Northern Michigan spikes after a couple of weeks of the restaurants being open, we're toast. I mean, really. I mean, we really are. We really need, through this whole thing, it's been people listening to the show, people like you, Tyler, myself, all of our amazing listeners, that if we do the right thing, good things will happen.
Absolutely, and it's a great way for us to show our neighbors up north in Michigan that we are supporting them in this effort, that we are taking this seriously, that we're not taking this from a selfish angle. And the best way to do that is if we do go up north for Memorial Day weekend or for other vacation times or just in general, that we're taking as many precautions as we possibly can take to not only keep us safe as we go there, but to keep them safe as well.
Okay, we're running behind. We got to move along. One other just really quick note. West Bloomfield is in the eyes of the entire state of Michigan.
Yes.
We're making statewide headlines. Monday, our school board meeting, which we broadcast live on Civic Center TV and WB-TV in West Bloomfield. Decisions were made about how school is theoretically going to look in West Bloomfield in the fall with, I know we don't have time to get into the whole program. We'll talk about it later, but some days at home, some days virtual, splitting things up, diminishing the number of students in buildings. And it's created a lot of controversy. Not everybody loves the plan, but, hope is not a plan. West Bloomfield announced their plan before literally anybody else, and school districts around the state of Michigan are looking at that as a bellwether to try to say, we like that plan. Maybe we want to change it a little bit. We might do this. We might do that. Congratulations to Dr. Hill, though, and the West Bloomfield School Board to have the courage to put their plan out this early so people can comment on it, discuss it. It can be modified. It can be an example for other districts. And very cool that they had the temerity to get that out in front of people. I like that.
It's great that they did that, and they had an extensive presentation about it and going into great detail about how they're going to enact these different policies, and it sets a benchmark, or at least at the very least a rubric, so to speak, or a guideline for other districts to make their plans as well.
All right, very good. We are running behind, but those are the stories of the day, and I thought it important to share those with you. We are going to check in with Byron Turnquist of the West Bloomfield Fire Department in just a quick moment, and it is National EMS Week, so perfect time to see how they are doing, and we're going to check in with the Archdiocese of Detroit. Catholic churches are going to be again opening up soon. That coming up on the Megacast. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. Our top priority remains slowing the spread of COVID-19 in our communities. Please stay home, and when you must go out to an essential business, take precautions like social distancing and washing your hands when you come home. Because of the pandemic, we are behind in our response rate in Michigan. While you are home, please take a few minutes to fill out the census. It is more important than ever that we receive money back from our federal government. The census is Oakland Together.
The Centers for Disease Control and Oakland County Health Division encourages households to prepare for the possibility of a coronavirus outbreak in their community. Keep extra items in your house for an extended stay at home. Remember any special food items for babies, the elderly, and pets. Keep non-prescription drugs and other health supplies on hand, such as personal medications, at least 1 month's supply, first aid kits, alcohol-based hand sanitizer, at least 60% alcohol, non-mercury thermometer, and get copies and maintain electronic versions of health records. Talk with family members about how they would be cared for if they got sick and what would be needed to care for them in your home. Learn about the plan at your child's school and your workplace. Discuss sick leave policies and/or telework options for workers who become ill. For more information, go to oakgov.com/health or call our Nurse on Call hotline at 1-800-848-5533.
And welcome back to the Megacast. Dave Scott here on Lakes FM, WBFH The Biff, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, Birmingham Municipal TV, Civic Center TV, the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce website. Wow, that's a mouthful. I can't believe I got that out that quick like that. So, and we have to because we're in a hurry. Standing by, we'll get to him in just a minute, is Monsignor Gary Smetanka, the chair of the Archdiocese Worship Commission and pastor of Our Lady Star of the Sea Parish over in Grosse Pointe Woods. And we'll talk about Catholic churches opening up here for prayer. Good news in just a minute. But right now, we want to salute EMS workers all across our area, and we're going to do that by saying hello to our good friend Byron Turnquist of the West Bloomfield Fire Department. He is a West Bloomfield Fire Marshal. Mr. Turnquist, hello. Welcome to the Megacast. How are you doing?
Good, Dave. Good morning, and good morning to you, Tyler.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Byron. And we want to talk quickly about occupancy, and it's a good transition into our next interview because the Archdiocese certainly has its hands full, as restaurants do and others, trying to figure out how to keep social distancing. But before we do that, it's National EMS Week, and I just want to take an opportunity to salute all the EMS workers. And I would love to come over there to the fire department with my cameras and microphones right now, but it's probably not the best time to do that. So would you extend our thank you to all the folks that work so hard in the fire department to save lives?
Definitely will. They have been working hard. They've been doing an outstanding job. And in fact, just before we started here, they took off out of the station on a medical emergency right this moment.
I don't think people have any idea the risks that they have taken over the past several months, and especially Byron Turnquist, the West Bloomfield Fire Marshal, especially right at the beginning. We didn't know what we know now. We didn't have all the protections in place. These guys and gals have been putting their lives on the line.
Yeah, they have, and we've been paying extra special attention to deconning all of our equipment, the ambulance, even the front of the ambulance where the paramedics ride to the emergency, but then all the equipment that we bring into the house, and just paying extra attention to the fact that we've got to keep everything clean to protect the residents and protect our paramedics as they respond to these calls.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume a significant number of the calls that they go on are related to nursing homes. And we know that nursing homes have been, really one of the most challenging areas during the COVID-19 crisis. And I assume that they're responding to calls there. So even more challenging, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the extended care facilities have been keeping us busy. But I don't want people to think that it's just limited to those facilities. We are seeing the disease throughout the entire community, even in areas that aren't affiliated with the extended care facilities.
So I'm sorry we're tight in time. There was so much news this morning, and we're good friends. I will get back to you, I promise, on another day. We'll spend a little bit more time. I appreciate you being with us, and say hello to Chief Flynn and everybody at the fire department. Before we say so long, though, let's talk a little bit about something that is right up your alley as a fire marshal, and that's social distancing. It's the fire marshal's job to make sure that there aren't too many people in a building under normal circumstances. So what are fire marshals around our area doing now to help organizations as we go forward and have to deploy social distancing?
Well, as you mentioned earlier in the show, the governor has loosened some of the restrictions up in northern Michigan. But a lot of the same requirements as they were closing things down fell into place on her executive order. Based on the size of your facility, the size of your establishment, that's where we're going to limit your occupant load to, or that's where the executive order limits your occupant load to. We're happy to work with our businesses, our restaurants, to try, if they have any questions about the occupant load, please give our office a call. We'll be more than happy to work with you and try to determine exactly what that's going to be for you as you move forward. And then the other thing I want to make sure that as people start to reopen and we start to re-engage, that our business owners, whether you're in an office building or whether you're in a bar or restaurant or a commercial occupancy, there's some things that still come into play. We can always limit who comes into the facility, which we want to do. You want to check the numbers. You want to make sure they're wearing their face coverings. and those types of things. But one thing that makes me nervous as a fire marshal is we can't let any of our businesses block the exits. We can restrict people coming in, but people always need to be able to get out in the event of an emergency.
You know, that is a really, really good point, Fire Marshal Turnquist. Thank you for bringing that up, because there's all kinds of restrictions and barriers, and, you still got to do the basics. Make sure you have the fire extinguishers, make sure the exits aren't blocked, and then I'm sure other businesses are doing what we've done here at Civic Center TV and Lakes FM, and that's have that sign-up sheet and check in people when they come in and do all the other things that are in the executive orders. And there's a lot of help. You can go to the county site, other sites throughout Civic Center TV, get a lot of advice on how to implement that. It's a little extra work on our part, but we'll keep everybody safe. Fire Marshal Turnquist, thank you very much for joining us today. Any final quick words?
Go off on another tangent here. In the state of Michigan, we're seeing a 40% increase in our fire fatalities. So one thing I want to remind everybody is, while we're stuck at home, while we have the kids at home, this is a perfect opportunity as a family to test your smoke alarms, develop your family escape plan that includes a meeting place outside and 2 ways out of every room. And it's a good time to continue to test your smoke alarms, run the fire drills, make sure your kids and even you know how to get out of every room in your house at least 2 ways and make it out to that meeting place safely.
Well,
smoke alarms definitely save lives, and I can't emphasize that enough. Please test your smoke alarms.
the best money you ever spent on a 9-volt battery, my friends, is in that smoke alarm. Fire Marshal, thank you very much. I had great advice. Thank you for joining us. Say hello to Chief Flynn, and we'll spend more time next time, all right?
Will do. Thank you.
Very good. During EMS week, one of the guys on the front line, he is a West Bloomfield Fire Marshal, Brian Turnquist. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Patiently waiting is Monsignor Gary Smetanka, Chair of the Archdiocese Worship Commission and Pastor of Our Lady's Star of the Sea Parish in Grosse Pointe Woods. Catholic churches around Metro Detroit, including in Oakland County and in our service area, are beginning to welcome parishioners. We look forward to finding out how all that's going in just a minute. You are listening to and watching the Megacast, and we'll be right back.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit, video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Good morning, and thank you very much for tuning into the Megacast. Thank goodness we have all these wonderful radio and community television stations that have allowed us to communicate through them to you over the past 60 days or so, and we've all been working together to try to get through this very difficult time. So thank you for tuning in today on Lakes FM, the Biff in Bloomfield Hills, WAHS in Auburn Hills, and of course the Avondale Community School Station. And thank you for tuning in on cable television as well. And a big thank you to the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, who is our Facebook Live partner. We're on Facebook Live each and every day, and we like talking to you and connecting with you that way. Well, thank you so much for the patience of Monsignor Gary Smetanka. He is the chair of the Archdiocese Worship Commission and pastor of Our Lady Star of the Sea Parish in Grosse Pointe Woods. And Monsignor Smetanka, thank you. And you look great on Zoom, and welcome to the Megacast.
Well, happy to be with you. Happy to be with all your listeners on this wonderful day here in metropolitan Detroit area.
Yes, the rain has finally stopped. We've been concerned about you folks over on the east side with all the wind and the rain, and we saw there was flooding on Jefferson Avenue. Everything okay on the east side?
Well, LA started to see is so maybe about 5 blocks this side of the lake, so we're okay, but we're always concerned about people traveling down Lakeshore, walking, driving, because we always have periodic occasions like this. We try and keep everybody safe.
This has been a very challenging time for Catholics and folks of all denominations over the past several months, because when people probably want to be closest to God and go to their houses of worship, they've not been able to do so. How have people been doing through this crisis?
I think overall, like everybody, people have been responding very well, trying to do their best to stay at home, except to go to the grocery store or to the pharmacy. Things are very essential. But we know for people of faith, going to their house of worship is always what they would consider to be just as essential. Even just to sit there and to be a little bit more at peace, to just offer their own prayers for guidance and safety and protection for our EMS workers, our healthcare workers, everybody who's been helping us on the front line, as we say, over these months. And the houses of worships have always been very important and essential in people's lives. And for us now in the Archdiocese of Detroit to kind of have kind of a soft opening over these next couple of weeks to allow people up to 25% of capacity or less, depending on how the pastor wants to view that. We hope to provide people that opportunity after 2 months to finally come in and to experience the Lord's presence in their church, and especially in the celebration of Holy Mass, which is so many people have just longed for. So many people have told me how much they miss being with their fellow parishioners at Mass and celebrating the many blessings of God in our life.
So from a mechanical and process standpoint, how's this all going to work? You going to block off certain areas of your churches, or
Yes.
just tell us how it's going to work for folks.
Yes, the guidelines that we have issued for the Archdiocese of Detroit, which takes in 6 counties, is obviously we want people to wear masks, facial coverings as they enter the church, while they're in church, and when they're exiting. To, of course, keep the 6-foot social distancing between people. Now, if you come together as one household and you're coming together as a family, you can sit together. But we've also recommended in parishes, you got to block off pews. In most places, you're going to have 1 pew open, 2 pews closed, 1 pew open, because that's usually about the 6-foot distance. And distancing in between pews. So it takes a little bit of effort to decide how to block off pews. And probably ideally it would be as people come in to actually seat them, to try then and get people, as many people as you can, because obviously a family of 3 or 4 could be together, and then 6 feet away be one other person instead of just having 2 people in that pew. So there's many different configurations, and I think our parishes have been doing a great job in trying to figure things out. And there'll be a few differences in masks from what they're used to over the months, but everybody seems to be very accommodating and very cooperative.
Well, Monsignor Gary Smetanka, chair of the Archdiocese Worship Commission and pastor of Our Lady Star of the Sea Parish in Grosse Pointe Woods, thank you for joining us today here on the Megacast. I appreciate you being with us. How has it been for you? Has it been difficult? I mean, it's certainly difficult for the parishioners, but in my line of work, we've had to do a couple of events that we have done with audiences, and we've done them without audiences, and it's been odd. Tell us your experiences, if you'd be so kind.
Well, it's been very odd for ministers and priests, especially we go back, to those last couple of weeks of Lent, and especially during Holy Week, not to be with the people, especially during the holiest time of the year. It was very odd and unusual for us to just celebrate the most important liturgies that we have privately. Was very odd. Very, very odd. And we just miss the people so much. I mean, like you depend on having a group of people in front of you. And we really miss being with people, hearing their stories, hear what's going on in their life, and being able to share all of their life with us. And so that's been difficult, not having people present. On the other hand, in some way, more on the personal level, it gives us an opportunity to maybe just spend more time reading, more time praying, reflecting. For me, I've tried some other different recipes I've been wanting to make that I've had more time to do that. But in terms of the faithful, they certainly have missed us. We have missed them. And we're happy to slowly bring people back into the church during these next couple of weeks and to once again resume public masses.
Well, we really hope it goes well in churches, in houses of worship, in restaurants, as they begin to open up, in factories and businesses. It's so important over the next couple of weeks that we do all we can to not only just follow the directives from government, but to do all we can to do our part as citizens to protect people that we don't want to see infected. I know anyone would feel bad if they were a participant in somebody else's ill health, and we don't want to see that happen. And we want to continue to get back to whatever normal is going to be as a community. And if we don't handle this one very well, we're not going to get there. So
exactly.
I wish you the best of luck. I think one of the challenges is going to be for me when I gather with other folks and try to make the social distancing work is, what happens after the services. Everyone wants to get together as they're walking back to their cars, and people are going to have to be careful, aren't they?
Yes, we've recommended in our parishes that people be dismissed from the back of the church, pew by pew, so they don't congregate, just inside church, and to encourage them at least to go out to their cars, and if that's where they want to socialize, people they haven't seen for a long time, that's probably the best place to socialize is outside, but still encouraging them, keep on your masks, keep 6 feet away, and let's all do our part to help the common good of the greater community and to do the best we can to keep everybody safe and healthy.
Well, I'm sure it's going to go as well as it can. Congratulations and good luck with reopening. Will all the parishes of the Archdiocese be gearing back up, or is it only certain churches, certain parishes that are going to be operating?
Yes and no. Yesterday was the first day that we could resume public masses. So churches who were prepared and want to and feel that they're ready to could. We did that here at Lady Star of the Sea. I know many parishes have, either yesterday or today. Parishes do not need to start providing public masses this weekend, but the Archbishop has asked that beginning May 29th, all parishes again resume public masses. So there's this 2-week period where parishes, if they're not prepared, they can get all the sanitizing solutions that they need. They can figure things out. They don't have to go with a 25% occupancy. They might lower that because of the way they look at the configuration of their church. So it's giving parishes 2 weeks. Some are going to be open this weekend, some are not. Some might be adding masses or extra services to accommodate the people. This weekend will be very interesting to see how many people come. I know a lot of people are still, hesitant in coming back with crowds, and that's okay. The Archbishop has dispensed Catholics from the obligation to participate in Sunday Mass through Labor Day. So people have total freedom. We certainly want those with extenuating health circumstances to encourage them to stay home because we want everybody safe and healthy.
How did it go yesterday, Monsignor?
For us, it went very well yesterday morning and this morning. Yesterday, we had about 45 people for morning Mass. Today, we had about 40. They responded to the directions very well. Takes them a little getting used to when to lower the mask and raise their mask and what to do. But I think people, again, are concerned not only about themselves, but about others. And they've been very, very cooperative.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Sorry we held you up a little bit at the beginning,
okay.
But good to be with you. Best to you and your congregation and the entire Archdiocese of Metro Detroit. And we just all hope and pray that these will be good days ahead.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So,
you're welcome.
There you go. We're getting back to normal slowly but surely in the Catholic Church and in congregations of all denominations across Oakland County, Tyler. And we'll be watching it. Again, everyone's got to do their best to make it work. Because if we see any spikes, if people aren't doing the things they need to do, all of this will be for naught.
It will, and it's been great that we've done what we've done so far to flatten the curve and to slow the spread of the virus, so that we can get to a point like this. But now we're in another area. Like you said, we have to do whatever we possibly can to help this portion of our response to the virus go as successfully as possible, so we can get to the next step, which is a full return to our new normal.
All right, from church to the nail salon, we make this transition now, and we welcome Lindsay Villasenor. She is the owner of Frenchies Modern Nail Care in West Bloomfield. She's getting hooked up here. I don't know if she can. Lindsay, can you hear? No, she's still talking to Larry. Let's take a 30-second break, and then we'll be right back and connect with her. Coming up later on, we're going to talk to an organization that does healthcare at home, see how they are getting along. We're going to talk to some folks that have some insight into how your pets are doing as well. And apparently there's been some pet scams online that we need to warn our listeners and viewers about, and we will continue to keep an eye on all the top news stories of the day as it relates to the coronavirus. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Betty Chu, Chief Quality Officer at Henry Ford Health System, and I'm with Wright Lassiter, Henry Ford Health System's CEO, to talk about coronavirus.
In uncertain times, it's natural to have questions, so I'm going to ask Dr. Chu to answer some of the common ones. First, why can't I visit my grandma to see if she's okay?
Because the elderly are at a higher risk for complications with this disease, and you could inadvertently infect her.
If I'm healthy, why can't I go out with my friends?
The larger the crowd you're exposed to, the higher the chance you could get infected and infect others.
If I have symptoms, why do I have to seek care?
While the disease isn't dangerous for most people, for others it can be. We need to understand how serious your case is, because the right choices save lives. For more information, visit henryford.com or call 313-874-1055.
Welcome back to the Megacast here on 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, Civic Center TV, Channel 15 in the West Bloomfield area, Birmingham Area Municipal Access TV, Channel 15 in the Birmingham and surrounding communities. You can also catch us on Channel 99 if you are an AT&T subscriber. And each and every day in the program, we have a Facebook partner. Today, it is the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, so we thank them for being with us. Well, Tyler, I'm looking at our monitor here where I can see how grubby I look right now. Personal grooming has been sacrificed a little bit during this whole thing. I haven't had a haircut.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not trying to be vain here, but no haircut in 60 days, so that's what's going on up have I'm glad the governor did not outlaw shaving, or it would have really been a mess. But it's been tough, and I'm not someone that gets all fixed up all that much either. Just slap a tie and comb my hair, keep it tight, and then everything's probably pretty good. But not everyone keeps things so simple, and that's why there are hair salons and nail salons and so on and so forth. And joining us now is Lindsay Villasenor, the owner of Frenchies Modern Nail Care in West Bloomfield. Lindsay, good morning and welcome to the Megacast.
Good morning.
I'm such a guy's guy. I got to come in and get a manicure. Do you let guys come into your place as well?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I will. Tyler, I've never had a manicure. You ever had a manicure?
I have not. No.
Okay. Tyler and I are going to come in and get our first manicure after all this is open. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's tough. We just talked to the Archdiocese of Detroit. Their parishes are beginning to open. Happened just yesterday. Governor is saying we're going to open up restaurants and bars in northern Michigan and the UP over the weekend. Manufacturing is opening up. Things are beginning to open up. Your industry, as I know you know, is on the end of the curve here. It seems to be one of the last industries, and is that frustrating for you that the governor has put your industry at the bottom of the list of things to open up?
Well, it's frustrating in the point where, you just want to be open, you just want business to continue. But on the flip side, I get it. We're in close contact with guests. even at a restaurant, you can space yourself more between the wait staff and the client. I understand, but yes, it's still frustrating.
You know,
But
I saw some of the reports on TV from some of the states where they have open. You've probably seen the videos and the television reports have been communicating with other people in your industry where there have been like plexiglass barriers put up and things like that. What kind of plans are you working on so you can get your salon open as soon as possible?
So actually, I did purchase a few of the plexiglass dividers. And so for a manicure, the guests so it separates the guest and the nail technician. They're portable, so if you don't want to use them, you don't have to, because we will also have face masks required from everyone. The technicians will all be wearing gloves. I actually got one of those thermometers that can take your temperature as you enter, and then all of my team will be tested daily. We're in the clean. If you can see behind me, our motto, our brand that's trademarked is "We Love Clean." So we already were above and beyond in the cleanliness factor. Just an example, the metal implements we use to work on cuticles, nail clippers, all that kind of stuff. We actually sterilize them in a medical grade autoclave, the same exact thing a dentist would use. So, I mean, if they're good enough for your mouth, or for your hands is typically what we like to say. And that was before COVID, right? We have the porous implements. So like a file, buffer, an orange wood stick, another that's used in each service. Guests take them home or throw them out. We never reuse them. We require everyone to wash their hands with antibacterial soap as soon as they come in, including the technicians. That's what we're taking for the new safety or additional safety measures. Another advantage that we have is what I'm gathering from other states that have already opened is that this is a lot of the nail industry is folks walking into the studio, wanting service, right away. Well, at Frenchies, we already have a robust booking system because we try for appointment-based mainly, and it seems like that's where we're headed. So that's an advantage we have because I already have the system built for it. We can do, I can also text from my system, so we can have virtual check-in, which will be a nice thing. When guests cash out, we have an iPad that I'll have a stylus pen and we can sanitize those in between use, or the concierge or front desk person can just check out for the guest. So, we have many different things that we're already sort of almost had in place. I really didn't have to add much more, which was great. One more thing is our air filtration system circulates fresh air in the building every 14 minutes. So there's just a lot of cleanliness and sanitization that has already been happening. And now we just have to, enhance it with more PPE. And
you are in so much better shape, Lindsay, than we are here in our studio because, you keep the place clean anyway. I could see you would have done that no matter what, coronavirus or none. And Tyler, I'm just thinking here, like our ventilation system some days doesn't even work. So, for us to clean up our act, it's been a much bigger job, hasn't it?
It's been a lot bigger effort than it's been.
Yeah. We're doing the best that we can. It looks like, Lindsay, you put a lot of thought into this, and I think it all comes right down to having these conversations now, so that when you can open your doors, that people feel comfortable to come in, because that's the other big question mark. What are you seeing in other states? Are you seeing that nail care facilities and salons are getting their customers back?
Yeah, actually, Frenchies is a franchise. I'm just the first in Michigan. So, we have Georgia's already reopened, Colorado, just to name a few. And I've been able to closely see what they're doing. And yes, they opened it with limited hours and limited days to start, but they've been booked. They really have. And most of the guests that are, repeat guests, of course, they already know we're clean. And I've actually had clients calling me saying like they'd come here, but they won't go to a restaurant right away just because they already know what we do. So it's just getting the word out again, right? Like, hey, like here we are. we are clean. And yeah, so far in the other states that I have, been able to watch reopen, they've had positive success so far. So
Lindsay, I got a favor to ask you. So we didn't plan this in advance, so this is going to be a surprise to you. Let me ask you a question. Erica Jones, our reporter who is here this summer, I think she's a better candidate for getting her nails done than Tyler or I. Can we send her over the day you open? Do you have any commitment to anyone being your first customer the day that you open up?
I do now.
Okay, well, we'll get Erica over. She's got her remote cameras, and she'll bring her phone and her selfie stick and all of her stuff over there. And what if we do her first treatment and your first customer live on the radio and on TV? What do you think about that?
I think that sounds amazing.
All right, we'll do that. And then we could show other people, that it's okay and it's safe, all right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're on. Well, now all we got to do is get the governor to open things up for you, right? Do you have any what's your industry? What is the sense? Do you think you may get that on the 28th of May, or what are you thinking?
I don't, just because, I'm watching what happened, in the north, like restaurants opened first, 50% capacity. What else did she open? The no salons, no barbershops, nothing like that has opened yet. So I feel like we'll be in the next phase if things loosen up here. I guess we just sort of have to watch and see what happens.
Well, we got to make it happen as soon as we can, because Erica goes back to the University of Miami in the fall. So I'm sure before then we'll get it.
Before then.
Oh, it better be. Are you hanging in there okay? You doing all right?
Yeah, I am. It's just anxious, right? You're anxious. You want to get back. You get back into. We were new to start. We only opened last August, so we're just ramping up. And we were open for 7 months before everything hit. So it's like the good thing is we already have a solid clientele. We just need to grow it, and
All right. Well, listen. When we send Erica over, she's going to ask for a receipt, okay? Because we're going to write this off as a business expense. So you probably don't do that very often. But, well, I don't know. Maybe can you deduct nail care generally, Tyler? Probably. I don't know.
Not to my knowledge.
I have to talk to our accountants about that. So we look forward to meeting you in person. Good luck with everything, and thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for sharing your story with us today. And we will see you on opening day. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
All right. Very good. She is Lindsay Villasenor at the Frenchies Modern Nail Care in West Bloomfield. I can't imagine how tough it is for businesses that know that they're not going to be able to open up Tyler, for maybe even another month or so. So best of luck to everybody, and it'll still be a little while.
It will. It does seem like it. Like she said, it may still be a little while for many other businesses, and we absolutely do feel for them. Being out of commission for several months on end, it can't be an easy task, but it's good to know that they're keeping optimistic about it, and they're making plans so that the day that they're able to reopen, they're able to reopen safely and continue on with their business.
One of the biggest challenges we have had in taking care of folks during this pandemic right here in Michigan, very close to home, has been folks that are in nursing homes and our seniors. So many of them have been in nursing homes or extended care facilities. There's been, some discussion about the mix of patients and whether COVID-19 patients should be at those facilities or not. That's a political discussion we're not going to get into. But a lot of people have been doing all they can to take care of folks at home when possible. And we're going to talk to Byron Schurgin. He is a president of Better Life Home Care next hour, and find out how that side of the business is going. And Tyler, there is a pet scam going on.
Oh, man.
What scoundrel would scam pet owners during these difficult times?
Some scumbag that's really desperate to have a gotcha moment.
So we are going to talk about that coming up in the next hour. We also have an awful lot of news to get to. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. It is a Megacast. He's Tyler Keefe. Dave Scott here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Back in a moment on Civic Center TV, Bama, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, Lakes FM, The Biff, Avondale Community Radio, and a bunch more. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Dr. Faust, Medical Director for the Oakland County Health Division. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, is a new disease caused by a new respiratory virus named SARS-CoV-2. COVID-19 was first identified in December 2019. There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease 2019. The best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, especially after going to the bathroom, before eating, and after blowing your nose, coughing, or sneezing. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray or wipe. Avoid close contact with people who are sick, and avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue, then throw the tissue in the trash. Finally, stay home when you're sick. For more information about coronavirus disease 2019, go to oakgov.com/health or call 1-800-848-5533.
Good morning and welcome back. It is the Megacast on Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access. And that is in Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, and Franklin. And Civic Center TV in West Bloomfield, Orchard Lake, Eagle Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and beyond. You can watch us on channel 99 on AT&T cable. Just go to the community television area and just click on one of the West Bloomfield channels. You'll find our signal. You can watch it anywhere. You don't need to be in West Bloomfield. And then a huge thanks. Is it too early to ID? Can I ID 3 minutes early today?
It's a little early still.
Okay. All right. FCC says we have to ID our radio stations at the top of the hour, so I'll wait a minute before we do that. But thanks to Lakes FM, The Biff, and WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. Thank you for tuning in. A lot of interesting guests today, and in addition, an awful lot of big news that impacts us all. And we will be talking to guests on over the next couple of days. Here are our headlines today, and I'm sure other things are breaking as we are speaking. President is coming to Metro Detroit. He will be flying in to Willow Run Airport, I believe, and then zipping right over to the Rawsonville Components Part Plant in Rawsonville, Michigan, right by Ypsi. And there they have been. Ford Motor Company has been doing an amazing job building much-needed ventilators. And Tyler Keefe, they ramped that up in very short order, very quick notice. They cranked out a ton of ventilators. I think if I read this story right, the UAW employees who are working there are essentially volunteers, and they're getting some compensation from the union funds. But, they're a big part of it. Ford Motor Company is a big part of it. Really great pivot and an effort for folks to come together and do exactly what we needed. And just like Rosie the Riveter did back in World War II, cranking out some essential hardware that we needed to save lives.
It was great to see that when our community had its time of need, that these major corporations and businesses and manufacturing almost immediately stepped up and said, we can't produce our cars and we can't produce what we're normally producing other than that in the manufacturing industry, but we can help out in this way, stepped up and did it. And then the employees on top of that even said, I'll come back regardless of what the situation is to help this. We need this.
Right, and it was a much bigger safety risk at that time, too, Tyler, because we didn't have all of the technology in place and all the precautions in place that are there now. So we opened up manufacturing this week on a wholesale basis here in Metro Detroit and across the country. If you've seen the technology, they got all the social distancing set up, right? And the physical distancing set up with marks on the floor and these amazing systems that the employees can walk by and it will take their temperature. It's not like the little head thermometer we have here. It's a complete thermal imaging system almost that you walk by and it checks everything. And the amazing things they've done at the plants to make them as safe as possible. But when they started this effort, none of that was there. They didn't have any of that. I mean, they did the best they could.
No, they really did have to start from zero on this and keep their business as safe as possible, the premises as safe as possible, with very little resources to do so at that time. And now, because of that, they've been able to gradually prepare more and more and have more more extensive technology to keep their business safe as they reopen to their full extent.
So again, I refuse to get into the weeds and mud. We won't get into the politics, but I do want to mention just the landscape here. So if you're not following all the details, you know what's going on. Clearly, the president and our governor don't like each other too much. And I'm not going to say it's anyone's fault. That's the reality of the situation. So I thought it was interesting that the governor put an executive order in place that said no tours and visits of any of the manufacturing plants here in the state of Michigan on Monday. And I don't know what the timing of that is. We can check on that, but it seemed to coincide with the announcement that Trump was coming to Michigan. So take that for what it was. The dig on the Trump side is he came out a couple hours ago this morning and said that he is going to cut funding to the state of Michigan if Michigan proceeds with a plan that was announced yesterday to send applications for absentee ballots to all voters registered in the state of Michigan. So, the president who has said that woman in Michigan, the governor who's been on every show imaginable nationwide, because people say she's a candidate for vice president, possibly taking every shot she can at the president. I don't think this is going to be your traditional presidential visit with the governor standing on the stage as well tomorrow.
No, I think it'll be very much a divided visit for President Trump. The governor won't be involved, probably won't be mentioned all too much. It's going to be mostly
I think she'll probably be mentioned, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm not getting into weeds. I'm just telling you what's going on, and it is kind of interesting to see what's happening. So that is going to happen tomorrow, and again, through all that, I just congratulate the folks at Ford and the UAW who really saved lives to make those vents, and I think it's good that we are recognizing them, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. The barber up in Owasso, speaking of a little bit of controversy here in the state, this is the guy, you might remember Tyler, who opened up his barber shop. 77-year-old barber said, heck with the orders, I'm going to open up my barber shop anyway. Local sheriff up there refused to shut him down, and then the state took his license away, and then the whole thing ended up in court. And state is forcing this to the courts quickly. They say there will be a decision by 5 o'clock on Thursday. Is that tomorrow already? Yes.
Yes.
That is tomorrow on my calendar. So by 5 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have an update on that. Lots of money coming to Michigan. Couple of good reports coming in. $315 million to help with testing and contact tracing. And that is really good news. And then yesterday, our two county executives in our area, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter and Macomb County, announcing $219 million from the federal government for Oakland County, and Hackle over in Macomb County announcing $152 million coming in Oakland County. Executive Coulter says $30 million of that will go to our small communities in Oakland County. Much needed support. And he also said yesterday that there will be more business grants. They've given out a number of grants already in Oakland County, averaging $4,000 or so. And now we'll see more of that. Certainly, that money all helps. We need more, but that money all helps.
It does, and municipalities have been struggling, businesses have been struggling, and that money coming in absolutely is going to help these local businesses in these counties, and especially the municipalities, continue operations as best as normal as we continue through this process, and even more so as we exit this process, because of the hits that they've taken are going to impact the futures as well.
All right, food prices are coming up. No big surprise. Story in today's Detroit Free Press. As more Americans stayed home in April because of COVID-19, they cooked more home meals, and they paid the price for it. Literally, grocery store bills shot up in April, showing the biggest monthly increase in nearly 50 years, according to a report I'm holding in my hand here from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, Tyler. And there's some good news in here, but groceries are costing more. You're paying a little bit more for the food that you're getting from the carryout, and gas prices, at least in April, I know they're creeping back up, but look at this. Gas prices, energy prices as a whole down 17%. Gasoline alone down 20%. You adjust that annually, down 31%. And, we know that. That's no big surprise. You filled up your car lately?
Yeah, recently I have. It was about 2 weeks ago I did, so I'm right about the point where I need to again.
And it doesn't it feel good to put in like a $2 or $1.90 gasoline? So that is the update. Groceries are costing more, and again, no big surprise there. Let's see. Our hearts go out today to all of those in the middle section of the state. So Monday I wasn't here, and I had some driving to do around the state for other business endeavors. And I was in the mid-Michigan area, and I went there early in the morning on Monday. And Tyler, you know what it's like when you're driving down the road, especially the expressway, and you got to have the wipers on full,
Yes.
and then you still can't see anything? That's what it was like up there on Monday. And then that was in the morning, and then I had to drive back at the end of the day, and it was still raining like that. And this was throughout the Midland, Saginaw, Bay City area, just pouring rain all day. So they got over 7-8 inches of rain. 2 dams failed yesterday. They said that they estimated by noon today there could be 9 feet of water in downtown Midland, and community after community having big challenges. So, last thing you want, in addition to the coronavirus that we're all dealing with down here in Oakland County, those poor folks just north of us are also having to deal with some of the worst flooding they have ever seen. And they had a flood there just a couple of years ago, and that was bad. They say this is even worse, and they've not had time. We've not had time to see the accounts, but there's a ton of agriculture in that part of the state.
Nice.
And you just wonder if that flooding is going to impact, the crops in the field, because I saw a lot of fields that were, they looked like Orchard Lake.
Yeah, if those fields are all entirely inundated with water, that, especially at this time of the year, depending on what crops you're growing, some of them may end up being essentially drowned, and it's gonna be really tough now for the agricultural industries in those areas with this emergency within an emergency happening.
Do you really know, Farmer Tyler?
I'm just thinking
can
about,
you drown corn? I mean,
I'm just thinking about this from a very basic level. But if you have a plant and you water it too much, that plant's going to die, and I'm sure that applies to crops as well.
All right. Well, I appreciate your commentary.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk to some folks, but I think that is an astute observation. We'll get an expert on the line. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll get back to our guests here in a couple of minutes. Those are the top news stories we are watching. You can find many of those in detail at civiccentertv.com/coronavirus. This is 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, WAHS. Auburn Hills, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, Lakes FM, Bama, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, Civic Center TV, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonay Caldoun. We know that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly across Michigan right now. The most important thing people can do to protect themselves is social distancing. That means unless you are a critical infrastructure worker or going out to get food or medicine for your home, you should be staying at home. Stay home, stay safe, save lives.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Parks COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
Are you maintaining proper social distancing over there?
I'm
Physical distancing. I appreciate that. That was an absolutely necessary technical adjustment you had to make. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
What a bad boys of community radio.
There you go. Just could you take care of some cleaning over there? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us here on Civic Center TV, and Bama, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, and Lakes FM, the Biff, and 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We are also live today on the Greater West Bloomfield Chambers Facebook page. Hey, by the way, Tyler, how'd it go when you were on the Oakland University Facebook page earlier this week? Did you have another? Because when I was on there, the day that I hosted, I had like 30,000 people watching. Have you checked your metrics yet
I have
for
not
the day
yet,
that you were
Dave,
hosting?
I'm a little nervous about it because, following up a radio megastar like Dave Scott on Oakland University's
it isn't
page,
easy.
I don't know if I could top that.
Can't be easy. The pressure. The pressure.
It's immense pressure.
All right. Seriously, my friends, we are delighted now to be joined by Byron Schurgin. He is a president of Better Life Home Care. And we were talking a couple of minutes ago about the opening of some of the other businesses. Having an option for your elderly members in your family to get the care that they need at home is something that might be really helpful to you and your family. So, Byron, good morning, and thank you for joining us via Zoom on the Megacast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. How are you this morning?
Fantastic. So, talk a little bit, if you want, if you will, I apologize, about taking care of our elderly family members at home and the kind of help we might need.
Well, it's something that's an honor to be able to take care of our elders. Currently, our company has experienced some challenges, obviously, but seniors that have needed assistance and help have not incurred the pressure that the other companies, because of the shutdown, were considered necessity. So all of your loved ones that still need help around the house with maintenance and personal care and running errands, we're still up and running. Our company actually has two halves. We're a neuromuscular massage company that does therapy in home for automotive accidents. And unfortunately, because our therapists, our massage therapists, they are not able to go to people's homes. But our home care company is up and running, and we are currently growing, and because there's more need for family members. So for instance, if you have a loved one, a lot of people are moving them into their own home and are calling us and saying, are you still able to bring people into our house? And the answer is yes. We are following all the guidelines in order to ensure safety. We have a COVID checklist every single day with all of our caregivers and all of our clients, making sure that they're feeling terrific, and thermometers and masks and gloves. And it's a little bit of a hassle, inventory management, but we have done an excellent job, and we've been able to really service those in need. One of the other things that we're doing right now is we were able to get the payroll protection. So our therapists aren't running, but our caregivers are there. And because we've got this extra funds that are coming in, we're doing some philanthropy. We are offering 4 hours per week of respite care to those that qualify for 5 families per week. So the first 5 families that call in, we're sending over a caregiver to their house to help them out, to give them a break. So folks with MS, ALS, Parkinson's, dementia, or any other debilitating issues that would qualify. So it's an honor and a privilege to be able to give back during this time where people are really struggling.
Well, Byron, I applaud that. That is awesome. And we've seen a lot of businesses that have qualified for the PPP using those resources to do something good, because maybe their pivot didn't, they didn't have some way to keep their employees directly busy, or they just wanted to do something good like you're doing. So I applaud that. So we know we have a challenge right now, Byron, in our some of our senior facilities and our nursing homes here in Michigan, where there has unfortunately been a mixture of COVID and non-COVID patients, and unfortunately a lot of people have been affected. Is keeping your family members at home with help from an organization like yours, is that an option, or
so much safer?
Yeah,
it's so much safer, because we're saying to our families that we're taking care of, stay home, don't go out. If your loved ones or family members want to come visit you, social distance, wear a mask, but they're not getting the traffic. And our caregivers, we are limiting them to one family at possible. Some of them are seeing, like the respite ones are seeing more than one family, but they're taking all the precautions necessary. And the degree of sanitation that we're doing in these homes is like, I can't even explain it. All day long, these people are wiping every single thing down and practicing, they've always practiced, sanitary practicing with wiping things down, but the masks and the gloves we've used, but the mask is a new thing. But when you have a facility where they're telling, the governor saying, you know what, we're going to send people that are leaving the hospital into rehab centers or subacute rehab centers in a mix with people that don't have it, and they just have to be extremely careful and cautious. I can't imagine the pressure on those caregivers that work in those facilities compared to the ones that work for us that have limited exposure. I commend them. It's a risk they're taking, but I know that they're taking all the necessary precautions.
Well, and again, we don't, here on this show, we don't really want to get political. I'm not picking on the governor or her.
Oh, not either. I'm being a factualist.
Right. Yeah, no, me too. But so this is an option. So if you have a family member, there are organizations like Better Life Home Care, and I'm sure other organizations as well that are doing a great job, just like you guys are, that can help. If it's too much for you to take care of an elderly family member, consider one of these options of getting a little bit of help at your home, and then your loved one who might even be in a facility right now, you might want to consider getting them out. I'm not saying do it, just another option, right?
It is. We have our caregivers go everywhere. So we do have our caregivers inside facilities, but they're not the rehab centers. They're like independent living. Mm-hmm. And one caregiver is allowed in, and they're with that client for the day, and then they leave. So we are practicing that. And for all the home care companies like mine, I commend you, because I know that they're doing great things for our community. And that's one of our slogans in our company is helping the community one family at a time. Well, so that's what we do. And everybody else that's like my company, they're doing great stuff for our community, and they need to be, they're heroes in my mind.
Well, they're in mine too. And I applaud your team and everything you're doing. And again, the other folks that are taking care of people and helping with home care. It's just another area we really wanted to focus on today, and I appreciate you joining us. There are some things, I assume, and some patients that they're not going to qualify. They're going to need a level of care where they're going to need to be in some facility. Can you help us with some kind of a line of delineation, even in just a general sense of when you might want to?
There's a spectrum of needs. Yeah. There's a spectrum of needs. We have people that are in nursing homes that actually, are going to need different kind of help. Like they're coming out of a surgery and they're going into a rehab center, a subacute rehab center, and they have full staff for those folks. Then there's assisted living, where you live in a facility where you're getting care. And then there's our company, where we encourage people to stay home. We see that clients and family members of clients thrive when they're in their own home and with family, or in a place that they can heal, or they can feel comfortable, where they're not feeling pressure that's affecting their immune system. They heal up quicker, they feel better, and they're grateful to be in their own home. And that's what our company allows people to do.
Well, Brian, you're an enthusiastic advocate for home care, and I that's fine. And I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about it. What about insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, Standard Blue Cross, and others? Would you be able to use some of your insurance plans for this kind of care?
You know what? I am not an expert on that. Our company, we do not take insurance except for long-term care insurance. We're a non-medical care provider. So that would be a question that I would not be able to answer. Okay. Although I'm sure, there's need for those folks, and I don't see a reason why Medicare would stop paying for their help. I'm guessing when they come out of a facility and they go into a rehab center, Medicare is covering them. And if they have Blue Cross or there's other insurance companies, obviously besides Blue Cross, that are giving people the insurance to be able to be in those facilities, but they're not paying for our company in specific.
Brian, thank you very much. Thank you for letting people know about another spoke of the wheel in healthcare and home care for folks. And I appreciate you taking a moment to joining us today. You want to give out your information if people want to call your organization directly?
Sure. And I also want to thank all of my employees. They are terrific. And the director of my company, her name is Amy. She can be reached at 248-444-3353. If you think you qualify for some kind of respite care, please give us a call, 248-444-3353. And the name of the company is Better Life Home Care. And the email address is betterlifehomecare.com. No spaces, no caps.
Okay. Well done, Brian. You got it across real well. And I assume you have capacity. And in a moment of a non-proprietary conversation here, I'm sure that the other folks that are in your industry have capacity right now. And there's a lot of good folks all over the place, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Doing good work.
All right. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us out.
No problem. Keep up the good work, and please extend our thanks to your people as well. Dave Scott, Tyler Keefe in our studios. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Faust, the medical director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. Practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
Coronavirus is deadly, but Michigan can fight back. Our front doors are the front lines of defense. Staying home is the best way to stop the spread, because just one infected person can give it to 40, who can give it to countless more. So call Grandma, don't visit. Video chat, don't meet up. And if you must go out for food or medicine, keep at least 6 feet from others. Stay home, stay safe, stop the spread.
Welcome back to the Megacast on 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH The Biff, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. We're on community TV in Birmingham and West Bloomfield, in Bingham Farms, in Beverly Hills, in Franklin, and Orchard Lake, and Sylvan Lake, and even Keego Harbor. Even Keego Harbor. Yes, we're definitely, even at one of my favorite towns, Keego Harbor. All you got to do is go to Channel 15, and you'll see those broadcasts. You go to Channel 99 if you are an AT&T customer. Channel 15 on Comcast, Channel 99 on AT&T, and find us. And, of course, you can go to one of our Facebook partners today. That is the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. So, newest member of our team is out on the field. She's going to check in every day. We never exactly know where she is going, but there is the amazing Erica Jones. And Erica, I know where you are. I can recognize the landscape. You are at the Drake Sports Park in West Bloomfield. How's it going?
Yeah. So I'm here. It's a gorgeous day out. So I was, thought this would be a great location, was really hoping to interact with some people, and there is no one here. So I found that interesting because it's such a nice day out. I would think that, people would want to come here. There are a few cars. Someone's pulling up. I think people might just be parking their cars here and then going on walks. But yeah, honestly, very underwhelming here. I thought there would be a lot more going on because, it's such a great place to be. But it's interesting, actually. It looks like the playground is blocked up. I don't know if you can see, but they have caution tape.
I'm not there. Yes, I can see that. Well, they have to do that because due to social distancing requirements, they cannot have the playground open. So all the playgrounds are shut all over. Maybe at some point, Tyler, they'll start opening up the playgrounds. Right now,
maybe later.
They are shut. I think it'll be a little while, but it's a story, Erica. The story is that no one is out there today.
Yeah, that's exactly. I pulled up here and I was like, wow. I mean, that's interesting that no one's really out here.
Well, people are working. People are still working. They got jobs. Students are in school. This is good. You are reporting that our responsible society is hard at work. The doctors are doctoring. The nurses are nursing. The teachers are teaching. The kids are learning. The office people are probably working at home in their living room, in their kitchen, on Zoom. Everyone's doing their thing, and no one is screwing around out at the park right now. So that's okay.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people as I've, been here for a little while walk by with their dogs, but other than that, no one's here playing with kids, nothing like that, which I'm honestly surprised. It's one of the nicest days we've had.
It is
so
nice.
It'll be interesting to see how that evolves, as the weeks go on. Maybe it's just early in the day. I'm not sure, but yeah, no one's really here at this,
Well,
nice
it doesn't mean that we can't take this opportunity to remind people that it's a really good idea. This is one of the things you can do. We often talk about all the things you can't do, and right now going to the park, Tyler Keefe, is one of the things that you in fact can do.
Yeah, and like Erica said, there are some people there that are out walking, and there's tons of parks all throughout Oakland County. They have a lot of great trails and a lot of great walking paths that allow you to continue to have the park experience that you would normally have without engaging in the playground with all the metal equipment, or sitting close by other people on a park bench, or playing in close proximity on a tennis court or a pickleball court.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll send you your next assignment. We got to check the schedule, but why don't we send Erica out to the Oakland County Farmers Market, and that's running multiple days. And I'm sure, Tyler, that she'll find some people out there. What do you think about that?
Probably, yes.
Yeah. Erica, we also made an appointment for you. I hope you don't mind. I don't know if you were listening, but we made an appointment for you at Frenchies Modern Nail Care in West Bloomfield. On the day that they open, you are going to be their very first customer, and we'll do it all live on Civic Center TV and on the radio. What do you think about? Is that okay?
That's so exciting. Yeah. Do they have a date that they're opening?
No, we don't, because we got to wait for the governor. And I told them that it has to be before the fall. They understand.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, no, we hope it won't be long. Is that frustrating? I mean, I'm frustrated that I've not been able to get my hair cut, and it's a mess. But is that frustrating for you that some of those services that we would normally get are just...
Yeah, well, actually, so I'm, I get my nails done religiously every 2 weeks. So for me, not getting them done was just not an option. So I've actually taken it upon myself. I've been doing my own nails. And I've actually been making videos on my own. I started my own YouTube with tutorials on how I've been keeping up with them during this time. So, yeah, it has been a huge problem, but I've made do with it because that's just not an option.
There you go. Then that will be the ultimate conclusion to your video series when the nail salons open back up and you can go back in. Is that going to be okay? There you go.
Absolutely. I'm dying to be able to get them done.
All right, sure. Erica Jones, from nails to no one in the park. She's got it completely covered for us right here on the Megacast. Thanks, Erica, for checking in, and we'll see you back here in the studios. Any final words in the park? Any final words in the park?
I just hope to see some people soon taking advantage of, the weather getting really nice and, everyone needs to get fresh air. People can't forget, it's not good for them to stay inside their houses and not do anything. So I really think people need to make more of an effort to take advantage of the resources we do have available, like these parks, and get out and enjoy the fresh air and beautiful weather.
Well said, Erica Jones, our reporter in the field. Great report, Tyler. She's getting better every day.
Oh, she is.
All right.
It's great.
All right, Erica, thank you very much for doing that. And we look forward to seeing you back here in the studio. Erica Jones with us this summer, and she will be continuing to file reports each and every day. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we are going to check in on this scam that's going on. There apparently is a pet scam. And what a terrible thing to take advantage of people that are looking for a pet and a companion during these troubling times when we're all isolated at home. We will find out about that in just a moment when the Megacast continues. We'll be right back.
Technology like smartphones are wonderful devices to reduce social isolation in older adults. You can call grandchildren, phone friends, participate in fitness classes, and play games. But you need to stay mindful of scams. Scams related to the COVID-19 virus are rising. These include attempts to obtain personal information from seniors, including pitching unreliable products, advice, tests, and cures. You need to stay vigilant and be cautious. If you feel that you have been taken advantage of, it's okay for you to reach out to somebody you know and seek out advice, or even contact your medical provider. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter. Our top priority remains slowing the spread of COVID-19 in our communities. Please stay home, and when you must go out to an essential business, take precautions like social distancing and washing your hands when you come home. Because of the pandemic, we are behind in our response rate in Michigan. While you are home, please take a few minutes to fill out the census. It is more important than ever that we receive money back from our federal government. The census is Oakland Together.
All right, welcome back. 89.3 Lakes FM. Is it my camera back there, Tyler, or is the Lakes FM sign, is it crooked back there in the back of our studio? Looks, I think it's okay. It's fine. It's just the camera makes it look crooked, doesn't it?
It does. It's looking fine back there.
Okay, we're all right? Everything's okay?
We're good.
It's not going to fall down in the middle of the show?
It's not going to fall down in the middle
All
of
right,
the show.
very good. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Civic Center TV and Birmingham Area Municipal Access, Lakes FM, the Biff, and 89.5 Avondale Community Radio. It is a Megacast. We're here each and every day covering the top news stories of the day as it relates to the coronavirus, and there's an awful lot going on. Tyler and I will zip through the stories. We'll also get through our daily rundown of our COVID-19 terms, which gives us the opportunity to remind you of the many things that you're going to find are going to help you get through the coronavirus and help our community get through this and help us continue to flatten the curve, which is going on really well. I mean, Tyler, we've been doing a good job. Numbers the last couple of days, Tyler Keefe, have been absolutely, I won't say fantastic, but certainly better.
They've been very promising over the last several days, and every time we've heard, the last few times that we've heard Dr. Jonay Caldoon, the Chief Medical Officer of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, provide her updates on the COVID-19 response in the state, they're continuing to look promising. But not, again, as they stress at the state level, and we'll continue to stress here, not a reason to let up just yet on all the safety precautions we're taking.
All right. There are many small businesses in Oakland County, and each and every one of them is important. And this is one of our favorite small businesses in Oakland County. It is Good Choices Dog Training. And joining us again on the show is Elaine Chan. Elaine, hello. Welcome back to the Megacast. Are you there? Looks like she froze right before we went in there. Elaine, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Very good. Yes, I can. We got you all connected now. There she is. Now we can see Elaine. Elaine, remind me, what is the name of your wonderful dog?
Mumu Pie.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Mumu was a cow and Pie. Mumu Pie.
Mumu Pie. I like it. And so tell us a little bit about how you guys are doing. You seem to be getting along real well today. And how are things going at your place?
Well, I'm starting to slowly resume some kind of normal, like starting to pick up a little bit of business here and there, or trying to get some contact with potential new puppy owners, or trying to reconnect with the current people that I was training before the pandemic started, just to let them know what is going to be happening in the next month or so.
So, first of all, let's just back up and rewind, because last time we talked to you, we didn't have a whole lot of time, and I apologize for that. We have a little bit. We have a little bit more time today. And how comforting is it to have a pet? For somebody that doesn't have a pet, doesn't really know what it's like, it's got to be really nice if you're home all alone and you don't have anybody else around to have a pet to come home to.
I think it's nice emotionally to have somebody to talk to that will, stay with you, to kind of understand if you're going through ups and downs. Also, I think it's really nice that it helps me if whether we're nice, I can go out to do things with my dog that really help cheer me up instead of sitting at home. Definitely helped out a lot.
Yeah, and
kind of motivates you to want to go out and exercise,
and if anyone needs any proof or affirmation of that, I can just tell you that, we see so many people interacting with therapy dogs when they're having health issues, and it really helps. So, I mean, just by way of example, last fall, we were at Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield. They had a screening day, and I had my blood pressure taken, and I had a therapy dog with me when they did my blood pressure. I've never had better numbers than that day. So just proof that being around a pet can have a positive impact on your health too.
It is proven that they can help help us relax and help put us in a better mood. Definitely.
So you are in the business of helping people train their dogs. And I assume that's kind of difficult to do right now. How are you getting through this era when you can't necessarily be with people in person?
Well, what I have been starting to do is that I will take in a dog that I will try to keep the owner contact at the bare minimum. We wear a mask, we keep the social distancing, and I would just take the dog for the day and then only work for them for a couple hours and then bring him back to the house, and we meet at a neutral area. So far, starting about last week, I started to do that a little bit to help out, just so that I can keep my business afloat.
Sure.
And then I also started offering some online training as well as what I call a support package. So the support package basically is just giving the owner 24/7 access to me through text, phone call, or email. If they have any questions, I can help them with, or they can send me videos of their pets. I can give them advice or tips just to get them through the hard time.
So the first tip is obviously to give your dog some really good food to eat when on television to make sure that they stay looking into camera.
This is their favorite thing in the world.
What is it?
This is ice cream. Actually, it's a local business that made them. So doggy ice cream.
Doggy ice cream, really?
Loving it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's my Postro. It's one of the local company that we're also supporting during this whole matter.
I want to find out.
Local business.
No, I like that. We're going to find out.
It.
Let's put that down on our list, and we're going to talk to the doggy ice cream company. Listen, Tyler, I like ice cream too. I totally get it. And I know you like ice cream as well.
Favorite. It keeps you really busy.
How about a couple of tips that people watching and listening today, if they're not connected with you, they just want to try a couple of things, their pets are not behaving, where do people start?
If they're not behaving, I would think if they have never trained their dog, I think people just don't realize how just a little bit of training or just talking to a professional trainer who know what's going on and how to help you can make a huge difference. So if, let's say, for example, if you're getting a new puppy, it really makes a day and night difference if you get them in training early, because you teach the dog what is being expected from human and how they should be politely interacting with us, and also making sure that all their socialization needs and all of the stimulation needs are met. And you need a professional to guide you through it if you don't know, or you're new to it. Or sometimes even people that are experienced to it may be missing a couple things because they have not learned it from the previous dog. I mean, for me, I have 2 dogs currently. I had one that passed on, but each time when I get a dog, I'm learning more and more and more. For example, Mumu is the first dog that I have gotten from a breeder. And even for that matter, I've learned, what to look out for when we're searching for breeder, when we're buying pets online. Where my previous pet, I bought it, at a local place. Where Mumu, I traveled to St. Louis to pick her up, and I was working with the breeder. I know kind of what I'm getting because she was a rare breed, a pure breed. So there are a lot of things that you need to really know. And the matter is that the professionals are out there. People like myself, trainers or vet, or, these professional sources are out there to help you. And I think people just need to learn that, we're out there to help you, and you just got to search for us and make the matter much easier.
Elaine Chan is with us, owner of Good Choices Dog Training. You see her and Mumu walking around there on television right now. We thank you very much for joining us. So I've been handed a note that bothers me, and it says that there have been reports of multiple COVID-19 scams hitting the internet, one being for the sale of dogs where you pay money for a puppy that essentially doesn't exist. The Better Business Bureau has officially warned of quarantine puppy scams. Have you heard anything about this at all, Lane? And can you tell us anything?
I have looked into it. Yeah, I definitely looked into it. And I think actually before the pandemic, something similar are probably already happening. I had actually come across people that probably had put a deposit down or had paid for a puppy, and they didn't get what is matching what they were expecting in a sense. So a lot of times I think it's just they see a glorified website, they see a lot of these fancy advertisements, but when they actually get the puppy could be sick, or they're really not the puppy that they originally thought they were getting because the pictures were not matching, or when they show up, they finally realize, hey, this is not matching what I'm seeing on this fancy website. By the time they realize it, they cannot really get any financial help or financial reimbursement, and the puppy could be ill, and they had to end up spending lots more money to help the pet to get healthier. So then I looked into the pandemic scam. I think people were taking advantage of, because the social distancing and the travel matter, you cannot drive to so-and-so state if they're on lockdown, that they're using that as an excuse of, you cannot come to meet me on site. So you don't know what I'm actually doing or how the puppies are doing, and then charge people outrageous amount of money, online, go, oh, you got to pay everything in full before you come and get the puppy so then we can ship it. And then they try to almost like scam you even through the shipping process of like, hey, how to protect the pet from the COVID virus. And people are just falling into thinking they're doing the right thing, but turns out they're falling into a scam. And by then it probably is too late.
Elaine, I appreciate you telling us about that. Briefly, where would people go? If somebody wants to get a pet right now, could they go to some of the pet shops? Are they open and available right now, or where do you go?
I don't think the pet stores are open, which actually is interesting, because you will wonder like where those puppies gone if they hasn't been sold, if they're like still getting proper care. But I know the mall is closed, so I don't know, there's one in the mall, even though I don't recommend people getting puppy from pet store. But I just wondering like where those puppy actually end up going, or are they gonna come down on discount. But generally I would say though, there are good breeders that will have a website, but they typically will not try to push the sales through internet by having a puppy go into a shopping cart and then you pay your credit card number, buying it like almost like you're buying a product. They might advertise the puppy by giving you information, but there's no way that you can actually do a real transaction online, if that makes sense a little bit for a good breeder to tell. Whereas the not so good breeder may be telling you, oh, you're gonna pay everything in full for $1,000 for a puppy, and then you just purchase it online, type in whatever breed you want. So, I'm not trying to say that the good breeder do not have website and they do not connect with the prospective buyer with a website. They do have a website, but sometimes I think you do not want to be blindsided by how fancy the website looks or how fancy the picture looks, because some good breeders that I know could be in the business for a really long time. They may or may not have really good ways of doing their website to make it really pretty, but does not equal that they have poor puppy on the ground either. I think the most important thing that people are going to be good is to see the breeder in person, ask lots of questions. One of the big things I learned about getting a good puppy, you got to be patient. You just cannot jump to it. I know people want a dog because right now they're home for the month or 2 months or whatever. They think, oh, I got plenty of time to get a puppy. But if you think about this, if you're going to get a cell phone or a computer or a new car, how many friends you're going to ask, hey, how is this computer brand? How is this car drive? You spend more time trying to do research, buying a product, but you can just jump online because you see a cute picture and then turns out and buy a puppy. I think that's a little bit almost like you take more time to really get the good dog that you're looking for, and you really got to spend time doing your research and be patient.
All right, Elaine, I think that's really, really good advice, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Good to see you. Good to meet Moo Moo again, and we love the Moo Moo's ice cream, so thank you very much. Thanks for being with us today, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Good luck with everything, and if you want to get some tips on dog training, give Elaine a call. It is Good Choices Dog Training, and you can check her out, and we'll connect you if you need her numbers, but I'm sure she's available online. Elaine, thank you very much for joining us today on the Megacast, and we all love our pets, and good advice from Elaine. You know, you don't want to jump into one of these online scams, Tyler.
No, and I think it's only responsible for potential pet owners as they're looking for a pet, whether it's a cat, a dog, a bird, whatever it may be, that you do your research, as Elaine said, and you meet the pet before you take them into your home, because you may not be a good fit for that pet, and the pet may not be a good fit for you or your family.
All right, Tyler, meet Spot. Spot, meet Tyler. Very good. Good idea. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. We will continue to take a look at all the top news stories of the day here. The coronavirus. Governor scheduled a press conference for those of you listening to the live edition shortly after our show today to talk about that terrible flooding crisis here in Michigan. We'll talk about that and much more coming up in just a minute. This is the Megacast.
I know you're concerned about the coronavirus, and we're working hard to combat its spread and keep your family safe. But we need your help too. Wash your hands often with soap for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face and cough into your sleeve. Replace handshakes with an elbow bump. Avoid large crowds or events, and if you're sick, stay home and call your health provider. Every one of us can make a difference limiting the virus's spread and keeping Michigan healthy.
All right, welcome back to the Megacast. Dave Scott, Tyler Keefe. We thank you for joining us all across Oakland County, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 WBFH, The Biff, WAHS, 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, Birmingham Area Municipal Access, and, of course, Civic Center TV. You can check us out if you want to watch our live stream on civiccentertv.com. You can get the complete video stream in high definition right there. And we also want to thank the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. For our listeners in the West Bloomfield, Kegel Harbor, Sylvan Lake area, just a special note for you. Traditionally, Memorial Weekend parades would be happening in your community, and I know a lot of other communities as well. At least in Sylvan Lake and Kegel Harbor, I know the parades have been canceled for this year. And Tyler, I would assume the same is true for a lot of the other parades. One of my favorite parades every year is over in St. Clair Shores. They do a really great parade, and I'm sure they're not going to be held this year, especially over there with the flooding that's been going on. So check with your local community and check with regard to Memorial Day services. At Civic Center TV, Erica is going to put together, Erica Jones, he just saw a couple of minutes ago, Tyler's going to put together a replay of the parades over the last couple of years that we've done and host those, and we'll have those on the air all day. On Memorial Day, there will be no Megacast on Memorial Day. We'll be back on Tuesday, but the parades will be on our outlets in West Bloomfield on Monday all day.
They will. Yep, we will have that all day. We'll have our the last 2 years of Memorial Day parades tapering off and replaying all throughout the day, so we invite you to join us for that.
All right, very busy news day, as you saw certainly in all the papers and on all the TV stations and even on the national news. Terrible flooding, dams bursting in the state of Michigan, just to the north of us. And in fact, I got a call today from ABC News. They wanted us to send a TV crew up there to get some of the video from the air. We were unable to do that because we're doing the show. But it's a big story. Our thoughts are with everyone around the state. The flooding is worse than you could imagine. Losing those dams really hurt. It's going to be tough for the people in that area. The governor has a press conference at 12:45, and you could tune in online and watch a lot of media outlets. I don't think we'll have that here today, but that is going on. I wanted to just let you know about that and make sure that you are thinking about all those folks just to the north and in the Midland area in particular, where they've had a couple of dams burst. And they said earlier today maybe up to 9 feet of water in downtown Midland. We'll get a further report later on. Other things that we are keeping an eye on today, President, of course, is going to be coming to the Detroit area. He will be here tomorrow and at that Ford plant where they have been producing the respirators, and a good opportunity for Michigan to shine. Listen, it's remarkable what Ford did, what the UAW workers did, and this was very early in the game before we had all the knowledge and protections of everything we needed to do to make sure we were protecting ourselves and the workers from COVID-19. They did a great job. They produced a lot of respirators, and Tyler, we never had, as far as I'm aware, I know there's been a lot of politics blended in with all this, but as far as I'm aware, had none of our hospitals, at least around here, ever went without.
Yeah, as far as we know, we've talked to all these hospitals, and they haven't given us any indication that they were over capacity or they were out of this critical infrastructure that they needed in order to treat this disease. So great news.
Well, in particular, I know it was really tight for many days, and I don't want to say it was walk in the park, but in particular with regard to respirators, somehow we were able to get what we wanted. And, let's applaud the people right here in Detroit who, just like Rosie the Riveter back in World War II, were there to build these very complicated devices. President will be here tomorrow to recognize those workers. And, there's always some politics around our president, but let's hope that all that goes really well. Of course, the other thing that we're watching very closely, because it does impact us right here in our backyard, is how the opening of restaurants and drinking establishments goes this weekend. Timing couldn't be better for people that want to get away for Memorial Weekend. If you're heading to your cottage in northern Michigan, the bars and restaurants will be open. Social distancing will be in place. Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association couldn't be happier, but even they say that they're going to be keeping a very close eye on how it all goes. And if it gets screwed up in northern Michigan, Tyler, it's going to be really difficult to get our restaurants and establishments open here.
It is. It's absolutely critical that they get this right, and even the governor said it's critical that these things go well for the reopening of the remainder of the state's economy and other sectors of the economy, because the restaurants and the bars in northern Michigan are essentially the testing ground for the effectiveness of these regulations. And if they can do well with this, then we'll see more sectors of the state's regions open up, and if they do well as well, that just helps expedite this entire process.
By the book, we are still in the stay-at-home order, yes. So you're really not supposed to jump in your car and go up north this weekend. That said, if you have a place up north you need to go work on, that they said that was okay. The hotels are open. I'm not encouraging anyone to break the law, but the hotels are open in northern Michigan, and I think northern Michigan people are expecting that some of us people from Oakland County and this part of the state are going to travel up this weekend. I wouldn't be too surprised if I-75 was kind of busy on Friday afternoon. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll all go well, and it will be a safe weekend. If you are going to northern Michigan to your second home, because that would be the only reason you're going, right? If you are going up there to your second home, just be aware that people up there are a little bit concerned about those of us down here. I mean, just imagine they've been watching the news. They see that Oakland County Wayne County, this area, and the same thing over in the west side of the state. We have had a lot more coronavirus activity than nearly anybody in the country, and it certainly has waned as of late, but I think those people will be concerned. Take your mask with you.
Yes.
Take your gloves with you. We can set an example for the people up there because, we really have been observing social distancing and being much more careful about some of our activities down here because of the number of people that have had the coronavirus. So be careful as you go to northern Michigan. Let's get through this weekend in a successful way. Mark Hackle and David Coulter, county executives in Macomb and Oakley, report yesterday. Macomb getting $152 million. Oakland County getting $219 million. And that couldn't come at a better time. In Oakland County, Coulter says, Executive Coulter says that at least $30 million of those dollars are going to go to help small communities. And, we talked about school districts and the school funding challenges. Our municipalities, our local towns that serve us here in our listening area, they have their hands full. So $30 million of additional funds coming to our communities got to be well received. And we'll talk to some of our favorite mayors and executives tomorrow, Tyler. I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that.
I'm sure they will as well, because this is the time of the year where they're adjusting their budgets for the next fiscal year over. And with the financial hits that we've seen across the board during this coronavirus pandemic crisis, these cities, these townships, these villages are taking a hit, and any aid that they can get is certainly going to help them continue the many great services that they provide to our municipalities and our civilians throughout Oakland County.
On our news blotter today, in addition, a quick nod to Dr. Jerry Hill, superintendent of the West Bloomfield Schools and the West Bloomfield School Board, for getting out in front of their plans for the fall. They announced in their school board meeting on Monday night that they have put together a plan for the fall that includes students going to school some days, staying home some days. The entire details are online, but they're the first district in the state of Michigan to come up with that kind of a plan. Elsewhere around the state, everyone is looking to West Bloomfield to get some kind of an idea of what they might do. They may not exactly mimic what is being done in West Bloomfield, but West Bloomfield got out in front of it, the first to announce, and that is going to, at the very least, create some dialogue. So took a lot of courage to get out in front of that, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks that may have some opinions on their kids not going to school physically in the building multiple days of the week. That it clearly, Tyler, creates a lot of inconvenience, and complications for parents.
It's going to be weird to follow for parents initially, but it is a really extensive and well-planned system that Deanna Barish and her team in the school board's administration, that Dr. Hill and the entire school board and really the entire school district went and planned over this period of time that we've been in this crisis. And for them to set that example for other schools in the state, it's great to see that out of our community. And if you want to get a look at that in its entirety, the full presentation from the school board, from other teachers, you can watch that full school board meeting on civiccentertv.com.
You can if you want to see that. It's there, and it would be fascinating to watch, even if you're not a West Bloomfield resident, because I think any of the school districts in the area might want to watch that, see what's going on. If you're a teacher in some other district, if you're a school board member in some other district, if you're a parent in another district, you might want to see what they did, because that at least is going to begin to start some dialogue as to what might happen in other areas. So again, where would people find that, Tyler?
They can find that full school board meeting on civiccentertv.com. Just click on our on-demand page, and we have links on the right side of the page that will take you to the West Bloomfield School District Board of Education. It's the only place you can watch that entire presentation. Is right on our website.
All right, forgive us. We're kind of meeting geeks here, but
we are.
that's what we do.
I live for the meeting.
All right, Tyler, I think we're out of time. Thank you very much. Great job, Tyler Keefe, making a million things happen. Ryan Younglove behind the scenes here at our studios, hitting all the buttons, making everything happen. We appreciate him. And the amazing Erica Jones in the field today, reporting from a park where there was absolutely nothing going on, and she filed an outstanding report. So thank you, too, for tuning in wherever you happen to be. We will be here again throughout the week. Just a note, Memorial Day, we will be honoring those that served our country, and we will not be here for Memorial Day Monday, but other than that, we are here each and every day live from 10 until noon, and on many of our stations, an opportunity to check out the program during other hours, and you can also go online anytime to civiccentertv.com and have an opportunity to check out all the information on all the news stories we talked about today, and also take an opportunity to go in and look at any of the other video you want. Tyler, anything else?
That about covers it. Good show today. We'll be back for more throughout the rest of the week, and we encourage you to join us for our Memorial Day festivities as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Tyler. I appreciate it. Big thanks to our stations as we say so long. Birmingham Area Municipal Access in the Birmingham, Bingham Farms, Beverly Hills, Franklin area on Channel 15 Comcast. Of course, Civic Center TV, Channel 15 Comcast. All those on Channel 99 AT&T. Big thanks to the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission, who support this broadcast each and every day, and our amazing radio stations, WAHS 89.5 Avondale Community Radio, 88.1 The Biff, and 89.3 WBLD Lakes FM. Have a great day.